Well, I'm Lebanese and I live in Beirut. This is my home. I choose for this to be my home. I prefer it to be my home, particularly now because the US is funding and arming a genocide next door, as well as funding and arming the bombings of Lebanon that are taking place, and I just can't not be here. It would be more convenient to be in a place like New York because, you know, there's electricity all day, just the conveniences of living in an imperialist country. But that said, my heart is here. It feels crazy being in the US right now. Today in Beirut, I think the atmosphere has become one of an adjustment and a kind of normalcy to this tit for tat between the Israelis and Hezbollah, to the point where people sometimes do fear an escalation, but they've gotten so used to it, it doesn't register here the same way it maybe does in international media or to international audiences. So when Lebanon's in the news because Israel and Hezbollah are hitting each other, you know, when people read about that in the US or in Europe, I think it looks a lot, it is scary, but it looks a lot scarier than the way people here might feel, specifically in Beirut. In Lebanon as a country, I mean, it really depends where you live. There's people in this country who don't even think twice about what's happening because they live far away from where the bombings are taking place. I think mostly what people are concerned about is the economic impact. This was the tourist season. People left early because flights were getting canceled. It's these sorts of things that are concerning people more than being frightened about the war escalating, because the war has just become so normal. Hezbollah is a group of Lebanese people, I'm Lebanese as well, who are defending their land and their country from a colonial occupying force. They are an armed resistance organization. They're only labeled terrorists because the US decided to label them terrorists because they fight Israel and they stand as an obstacle to US imperialism in this region as a result. For a lot of people in this country, Hezbollah is the one thing standing in the way between having Israeli rape dungeons across Lebanon as they've established across Gaza. Hezbollah is a defense force in this country against one of the most vicious terrorist countries we've seen in our lifetimes, the country of Israel. So that is how I see Hezbollah. And, you know, anything labeling it a terrorist organization is just politicized by the US to demonize a group of people that are an obstacle to get what they want in this region. I'm just speaking honestly and objectively, by the way, about what Hezbollah means to a lot of people in this region. But the US is becoming a scary place in that respect. And I just want to speak to something else you mentioned. Hezbollah is demonized as something that everybody in Lebanon fears because there's this Islamist organization. I'm speaking to you from Beirut. I can say whatever I want here. I can dress how I want here. No one's forcing me to do anything one way or another. So that characterization of Hezbollah is completely false.